from Copperland, bringing you The Origins of Gold, Part 2. Now, getting back to magnetics. We have a little toy here. We created these little scientific toys. We have two magnets. They either attract each other or they repel each other, depending on, you have negative, positive on the two faces. If you have two positives facing each other, the magnets repel. Conversely, if you have two negatives facing each other, they repel. If you have a positive and a negative facing each other, they attract. Now, nobody can tell you what this invisible force is between these two magnets. There's a magnetic force. You can see they're not coming together. That demonstrates there's a magnetic force. Nobody knows what that is. They know how to make it. You can make it by a strong electromagnetic current operating on certain metals to supposedly align the atomic structure to create positive and negative faces. But nobody really knows what that force is any more than they know what the force is in an atom. But we'll get to magnetics and electromagnetics later on. Anyway, this is just to show the entire universe. God created the entire universe with one particle. This is called what? Hydrogen. Everything in the universe is based on a single particle. God created one particle. It's the hydrogen atom. You have a couple different types of hydrogen. You have another form of hydrogen which has a proton and a neutron. And you have an electron shield around that. You have another isotope of hydrogen which is one proton and two neutrons. Now the neutrons are formed, like I said, when you take an electromagnetic force or you take an electron. Let's just say we take an electron. Okay, we take an electron and we fire it at high speed and it directly hits a proton, then that is transformed into a neutron because it has one positive and one negative force. It balances out into a neutron. So how do we go? The entire universe, like I said, was first created only with hydrogen. There was nothing but hydrogen at the beginning of the universe. How did we then get to other elements? Yeah, that's pretty easy. If you have a massive amount of hydrogen like you do in our sun, now scientists think there's nothing but hydrogen in the sun. That's not true. It's an enormous mass of hydrogen, just so big you can't even fathom how much mass is in there just with the hydrogen. So we have the sun. Let's see, this is the sun. And you have all this hydrogen, fiery hydrogen, all this action going on the surface of the sun. The mass of this hydrogen pressing down is actually exerting what they call a force of fusion. Now say you have a couple of hydrogens, and they have their electrons, of course. If you push these two protons together, you push them right next to each other and they'll lock together into a new element. That's fusion. Normally you can't get them to fuse together because your electron shells protect the protons from being forced together. But if you force them together under heat and pressure, they create a new atom with 2 protons in it. The same is true, you can go to 4 protons, you can go to 6 protons, so you keep going up higher and higher in what they call atomic number. That's going on in the sun. As you get closer and closer to the center of the sun, you have these layers. Let's get rid of this. You have different layers of materials. Each layer with higher and higher numbers of fused protons. You start out with hydrogen, which is 1 proton on the surface of the sun. As you go down into the core of the sun, the heat and the pressure is so much greater, it's actually manufacturing hydrogen to make other elements. All elements, everything around you is nothing but hydrogen. It's all hydrogen. It's just different groups of the hydrogen atom. Take, for instance, gold. Told you we'd get around to gold. Gold has an atomic number of 79. That means 79 protons in the nucleus. But each of those protons is a hydrogen nucleus. They've simply been compressed and packed together into a tight nucleus, creating the characteristics of gold. So you have gold, which has an atomic number of 79. Tungsten is pretty close, has really, really close characteristics. That has an atomic number of 74. Platinum has an atomic number of 78. But where they really vary is in their specific gravity. Specific gravity means how many volumes of water will that material displace in a bucket or whatever. Gold is 19.32 times heavier than water with equal volume. Platinum is 21.4 times heavier than water with the same volume. But here's an interesting one. Tungsten is 19.6 times the mass of water. It has a specific gravity of 19.6. Gold has 19.32. So those are the closest two elements. If you're going to experiment with gold collection systems, tungsten is really what you want to use if you don't have the gold, because it's really, really close in character. So you can use, where do you get tungsten? Well, you use tungsten rods for inert gas welding, your TIG welding. You can get rods of tungsten. You can get tungsten as tungsten carbide from machine shops that use tungsten carbide chips to cut metal. So there are a lot of places to get cheap sources of tungsten, either like I said, the inserts, machining inserts. You can go to a machine shop, they'll give you a whole handful of used inserts for nothing. So you can smash them up, do whatever you want, create like simulated gold dust or chips. You can also order in TIG rods and cut those up, crush those up. So there are different places to get it. Anyway, that's where gold comes from. It comes from, you could call it the 79th layer. We'll call this the 79th layer here in the sun. And as you go up in atomic number, you get up into uranium and different things like that. The larger the mass, or the larger the atomic number, the closer it is to the core. Okay, till then, till next week, my name is not Jeff. I am not Roger from Oz. I'm Ken from Copperland. And remember, Gold Turbine products will turn you from a 90-pound weakling of a gold panner into a beast of a miner. So get your gold products, get your Gold Turbine products, and I'll see you out there in the Arizona gold fields pretty soon. We're getting everything ready, and we'll be out there to see you soon. Till then, take care and see you there.